This is Hannibal from the HannibalTV.com, and I just came across a video on, I think it's Booker T's Reality of Wrestling channel, where he is definitely in agreement with me that the Impact creative people are terrible and are really awful. I'll tell you a few quotes on what Booker T had to say about Tessa Blanchard winning the Impact Wrestling men's title. He said it is the worst idea they ever had, referring to Impact Wrestling. He says worse than paying him $10,000 for a commercial they ever aired. And he thinks it's possibly the worst idea in the history of professional wrestling. And he wonders if someone within the company is actually trying to blow the company up on purpose, thinking, let's see how bad we can mess this company up. They discussed how it makes them look like an indie group to have a female as a male champion, as that of intergender wrestling. If it has to happen, it's more of an attraction. You don't want to hang your hat on that as that's what your company's all about. And he did bring up a good point that, are they encouraging violence against women by doing this, by making it seem like it's okay for men to hit women? Because as tough as some women are, obviously a Ronda Rousey's going to beat up your average guy, but another MMA fighter, like I believe Booker T mentioned, John Jones versus Ronda Rousey, that would just be a horrible beating. So I am in agreement with Booker T on that. I believe it's too late to save Impact. Nobody cares about them. As far as I'm concerned, the only time they're talked about is stupid stuff like this. They don't draw flies. They don't release their pay-per-view buy rates. So it's truly, I think, done. But if whoever's funding it wanted to make a smart decision that could only lead it in a better direction, they should get rid of their current creative people, who I think are Don Callis, who basically ran his own indie company for about a year before it went out of business, called No Holds Barred Wrestling, and Scott D'Amore, who he has run Border City Wrestling in Windsor, Ontario successfully, but I don't know what kind of ideas he has if he's behind a stupid idea like this. In other news, I already had mentioned that Tessa Blanchard canceled a Canadian indie wrestling company appearance that's supposed to happen this coming weekend. She gave them back her deposit, but did not refund them the flight money that they had paid for her already to come. The show is called Battle World 88, and they replaced Tessa with Allison Kay, who is stepping in at the last minute. And coincidentally, she is one of the many wrestlers that came out with accusations about Tessa, along with now, I guess, a whole bunch of women of wrestling, wrestlers as well from the WOW show. Tom Phillips is the new lead voice of Raw. In other news, replacing Vic Joseph. MVP, who returned at the Royal Rumble, according to Dave Meltzer, is expected to do more dates, but he's not going to be a regular going forward. Last at the Royal Rumble, that appearance was his first appearance in 9 years with the company. Santino Marella also entered the Women's Royal Rumble as Santina. And I did do an interview with Santino a little while ago. You can look that up at the Hannibal TV, a full shoot interview with him. But I did a more recent interview with him in Albany. I think it was back in November. And he said in that interview he wants to possibly return to the WWE with his daughter, Bianca Morales, or whatever his last name is, Santino. Bianca Morella is her last name. And finally, I should really unfollow NWA Power. I think I will. I do have a Twitter at Devon Hannibal for anyone that wants to interact with me on there. I suck at Twitter, though. I'm also on Facebook at Devon Hannibal Nicholson, and we are on Twitter at the Hannibal TV. But I came across again another group photo. I complained that NWA put out a Christmas group photo as if it's like a family Christmas card. But I guess they just finished another set of tapings, and they put another group photo out with heels and baby faces mixed together. And for the people who are wondering why I don't like this NWA, among other reasons, because the original NWA would never put out group photos. Could you imagine that? The Four Horsemen in the same picture with Dusty Rhodes and Magnum TA and all the producers, the Crockett's, Gordon Soley, and they're all just smiling. Hey, we're all friends here. I don't know. Back in those days, the NWA champion would sell out. The NWA champion is appearing on Ring of Honor's upcoming free show, which, by the way, even though it's free, you have to order tickets. And from what I've seen by the arena setup, they're not using the whole arena, and it's not yet sold out, even though it's free. I believe it will eventually sell out. However, at this point in time, even though it's a free show with all these Ring of Honor and NWA stars in a major city like Baltimore, it's not yet sold out. Ralph Vaquero says, yeah, that was a joke. Tessa winning the title. Tony Martizin says Tessa is a joke. Crafted Man One says a man beating a woman is not good for kids. It's not good for kids to think that's okay. And I don't think that's okay either. If I was a kid in grade school and I'm seeing women wrestler and men wrestling punch each other in the face, I wouldn't think that's okay either. I'm not totally opposed to intergender wrestling because it has its niche, but definitely not to build your company around. That's just shit to me. And I have done movies. A lot of the trailers of them are online here. I used to do movies with sultry superheroines, where I would fight superheroines, very hot girls. Easiest money I ever made, rolling around with girls and getting paid for it that are supermodel quality. But my point is, those videos were like 18 plus videos. They weren't presented to kids. OC guy says, do I think Lars Sullivan can recover from what happened, or has his image been destroyed beyond repair? WWE could probably, my best bet for that would be possibly to like totally change his gimmick and change his name, but who knows? They'll do whatever they want, but he's not Google friendly. But I don't know what they're going to do. Michelle or Michael Loretta says Randy versus Edge at WrestleMania. Yes, I heard that. It's going to be Brock against Drew McIntyre or Drew McDonald. I forget what his last name is as well. I think that's a really weak main event, Brock against Drew McDonald. Oh, my God. Someone was asking me why I don't like him. I don't have anything against him. Not a fan of his accent, and he's just very plain to me. He doesn't strike me as a tough guy, but I have nothing against him at all. Good for him if he's winning the Royal Rumble. I haven't seen enough of him to be a fan of his, but I've tried to listen to him a few times, but his accent gives me a headache. It's effing wrestling, not bar fights at your local bar. All Day Solo says, well, when wrestling was actually selling out arenas, multiple nights, multiple arenas the same night by one, like WWE at one point was doing 3 shows and sometimes selling out 3 shows in a night. And there was other federations also running multiple shows a night. Back when those were actually selling out, it was more realistic. A lot of you younger fans probably don't remember those days, but back in the days when it was more realistic, it was better. I actually watched the boxing press conference between, why the hell is his name slipping me right now? The guy that just wrestled Braun Strowman. For some reason, his name is slipping me right now. But I recently watched his boxing press conference, and the boxing press conference, or not press conference, they did a media appearance together, and they were trash talking each other, and that was more was happening than in the WWE Saudi Arabia press conference, where it wasn't entertaining at all with this. I know his opponent's name is Wilder, but why the hell is his name not coming to me? Too late at night, maybe. Yeah, Tyson Fury. Yeah, his thanks, Devious One and Joey, for reminding me. Tyson Fury. Yeah, I watched his media appearance with, I think, Wilder, and very entertaining. Much more entertaining than the fake scripted one that you could have made more entertaining because it was fake. But wrestling has just become tame, unfortunately, overall. There are some good products. PCW Ultra is great. It had a legitimate sellout recently. Not only the seats were sold out, but they had a packed standing room. And March the 27th, I'll be coming back and covering their next show. I believe Luchasaurus has somehow even been added to the next PCW Ultra show that will feature the Blood Hunter against Shane Douglas, War Beast, members of, also known as the Contra Unit, some of the members of War Beast. Going to be a huge event. PCWUltra.com has more information.